of conduct. That'll get us your contact information and make sure we're on the right page. But a part of that is joining the Band app. And I know that we are choir. There isn't a choir app. The app that we use is called the Band app. And if you remember in middle school choir or maybe in other organizations, information was sent using gobs and gobs of dense paragraphed emails. And if you had the time to do it, you could sift through said emails and find the one or two sentences that have to do with your child and your child only. This takes that off of your plate. The Band app, essentially, if you turn this little flyer over, each one of these QR codes takes you to the ensembles that we have. If you got this flyer at home and you printed it and the QR codes didn't work, it was because they were printed in a QR code size too small, so like it didn't read. But the QR codes do work, and they'll take you each one. You sign up for this Band app, and essentially when you open up, like if your kid is just in JV Treble, then you only have to ever see information about JV Treble. If you don't want to download an app on your phone, or if you just want to view the information on a website, each one of these Band apps is its own website as well. So you can bookmark the website if you prefer to do it that way. If you don't want to do any of that stuff and you just want the email, then go to notifications in this, and I can help you. If you come up here, I can help set up notifications. You go into settings for your kid's Band app, and then you click on notifications, and then one of the options is email notifications. So if you like to get an email, then everything that we post, if you don't have the app, it will come to you and you only as an email. Otherwise, most people like to get it as a text ping, okay, a little ping, and then that thing that we sent out goes to you the same way a Remind 101 does. But with Remind 101, you're trapped to have like a certain amount of characters, and it's not like that with this, but it'll say new post in Band app, and for that reason, because I want the information from Band app to be concise, I want it to come from the directors or booster executive board. We turn comments off, so it'll look a lot like a Facebook page at first. But if you see the ability to comment, it means I forgot to turn off comments, because I'll post a thing about a concert, and then every time someone will comment something I've answered in class, a kid will be, what time is the concert? And then see all these people in this room, everyone will get a text message with that question. And then someone will say, it's at 6, and that person was wrong. And then the bing, 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 6, 6, 6, 6, 6. And then 40 people, I thought it was at 7. Bing, 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 bing. So we turn comments off. If the comments are not turned off for whatever reason, I urge you to ask your question to myself or Bennett a different way. Because every time you make a comment, people will get a text message with your comment. And if you get 2 or 3 of those in a day, then you're more likely to turn off notifications. And then your kid's gonna show up on picture day wearing school clothes, and they're not gonna be in the yearbook, okay? It's, your kid's gonna not know about you have to be prepared on your bass part by Wednesday, here's the practice track, but you turned off notifications so they didn't get the thing, and now that's that. Or your kid doesn't bring a meal to something because you didn't get the notification. We want you to get the notifications. So, Band app is where you do that. If your kid is in varsity treble and they're in chamber, scan both. If they're also in show choir, scan both. But you only have to receive information from your kid. And I'll tell you right now, if your kid's only in varsity treble or chorale or JV tenor bass or JV treble, the number of notifications you get are very minimal. The after-school experience for high school choir is, if you're not in one of the extra things, is really just a few concerts, okay? And we'll get to that. So anyways, join the Band app, turn on notifications, fill out the registration form. For a lot of you, that's check already, okay? And then the third thing here is attendance. I'm going to show you how to save the calendars so you as parents can ensure that your kids are not getting optional, totally avoidable absences racked up during very specific slivers of time, okay? We have to have people in class. Pay the choir fee by September 2nd, and I'll get to that in a second. This is separate from chamber or show choir. This is just the general choir fee for being a Timber Creek choir kid. And then assemble the uniform. So I'm gonna talk about that stuff, and then we're gonna do a little booster thing, and we out of here, okay? This is a condensed presentation. When I first got the job here, this presentation was about 2.5, 3, 4 hours. Okay, I've been very, very proud of myself that I'm condensing, okay? So this is just, next slide, Bennett, sorry. All of these are the QR codes for your kids' band app. Ironically, like this would be the time to take a picture of this if you aren't in there, because the slideshow will be in the band app, but it's the chicken or the egg thing. These will all be in the band app, but if you're not currently in the band app, you gotta be, okay? Next slide. Registration form. Again, we're just making this available in many places. If you haven't filled it out yet, it's on this piece of paper. If you want this piece of paper, you can raise your hand now, and I'll have one of my friends here run one over to you. Otherwise, it'll be on the band app. You guessed it. Next slide. The registration form also takes like 10 minutes if you're really, really coming through it. Okay, it's not a long, painful process. Okay, core choirs. So if you are, I guess you can go to the next slide. Wow, yeah, there's no way you can read this, but if your kid is an incoming freshman, no matter what, they're in either JV treble, if they're soprano or alto, or they're in JV tenor bass. And at the end of this school year, there's gonna be a 1-week process where they can have unlimited attempts to audition using just Sight Reading Factory in order to make it into the next choir. Until we get more guys, JV men at the end of their freshman year, they're just auditioning to make it into chorale, where a lot of guys will be in from their sophomore, junior, senior year. JV treble, you'll audition at the end of your freshman year to be varsity treble, which is largely sophomores, but also has juniors and seniors. And then at the end of your sophomore year, you can audition to be in chorale, and that is junior and senior women, or sophomore, junior, senior tenor bass. All that to say, I get a lot of emails this time of year being like, my son was in JV tenor bass, but my son was in varsity tenor bass in middle school. I'm like, well, isn't that lovely? Okay, I am so happy for them. We have all staters in our JV classes. Okay, if you're in chamber, if you're in varsity show choir, those people are required to be in chorale. If you moved here from out of town or from another school or whatever, show choir already had a week-long camp. We're not taking more people into show choir. Chamber was picked last year, and they're capped at 32 people. We're not taking any more people into chamber. So you can audition at the end of the year. If your kids hear about Freshman Select, that's another extra choir, and I'll have auditions for that in about 6 weeks. And whenever that comes around, don't let your child sign up for Freshman Select if they can't commit to the once a week rehearsal. It was like 6 to 8 last year on Monday nights, okay? Every year we have people that are so excited to be in Freshman Select, and then they make it, and it's like a little young chamber choir. It's like 30-ish people, and we'll have people make the ensemble, and then come the very first rehearsal, I can't come because of some irreversible thing that I knew about months and months and months ago. And then the next rehearsal, oh, I also can't come to this one. Oh, also, my mom likes to, celebrate birthdays on Monday night, so here we have it. Don't do it, okay? Our flow chart, yeah. Go to the next slide. If your kids do happen to be double blocked for choir at some point, you can't be in show choir without being in core choir. You can't be in chamber without being in core choir. Can't be a freshman select, although it's not a course, without being in a choir. So to do any of these extra things, you will need to make space for 2 choirs. And there are ways, magical, mystical ways, to do as many choirs as you want. Daniel, how many choirs are you in? 4? He's in 4 choirs, okay, and this is his 4th year in chamber, meaning he's been double blocked at least every year. And then last year you were in 3 choirs, and now you're in 4 choirs. And guess what? He's gonna walk the stage in May, okay? How he does it, I'm not totally sure, but he's not cheating, okay? A lot of kids, there's things you can do online. If you look at this hilariously blurry slide at home, and you're curious how people do it, you don't have to sacrifice your high school experience to get your engineering pathway, something or other. You can do choir double blocked if you look into the alternative methods for getting course credit. Okay, it doesn't have to be in this building, and a lot of stuff can happen online. And on this slide, there's like an example for your schedule of someone who got college paid for in non-music major. Who's a non-music major in college and is getting it paid for, even though she was in show choir and chamber and blah, blah, blah. So there's examples up here. You can always reach out and I will refer you properly to people who know exactly how to do that. Okay, concert attire, go ahead and skip. Okay, so we have our lovely examples up here. Okay, Mr. Bench, you can go to the next slide again. I don't know what it is, and y'all can just kind of wait back there really quick. That's good, right there. Yeah, really good. No, it's good, yeah. There is something in the water with when your kid is in JV treble or JV tenor bass, okay, where parents think we will not see your white shoes and socks at a concert. And I'm here to tell you, we do. We see it every time, okay? It's an eyesore. And at the fall concert, I let it slide, okay? There's like 18 to 35 kids coming up here, always in JV choirs, and 2 just like this, with the black and the scarf, and just active wear, okay? I am here to tell you, it is black shoes, black socks. Girls, you're allowed to wear heels. They don't have to, I just ask that we don't see toes. That's it. It's a no-toe kind of heel, okay? But for women, you have to prepare, or you have to provide now you can come on here, okay? And this scarf is finely wrinkled by the storage closet. But these pants are black concert pants that she purchased on her own. If she sees a better pair she wants, she can get those instead, okay? If your child grows, if your child shrinks, if your child's now in crutches, whatever, you can get black concert pants for guys and girls, okay? That's not a part of our uniform. And that helps people feel confident. And it just, women's garments in high school should not be one size fits all. Okay, it's really, really, really hard to do that and have people look and feel confident. We provide for both men and women, we provide with your choir feet, the blouse, okay, and it's nice and flowy, okay, it complements, it's breathable, even though it's got kind of a long sleeve. It's not the worst thing in the world. You can still move around. You can do a cartwheel, okay? For the guys, it is this turtleneck in there, okay? And we'll give you the shirts. And then there's, the guys do also have, can you go to the next slide, Mr. Bench? The guys have these super, super gorgeous new skinny neckties, and Miss Brown made them for us, and I love them so much. We'll also give those to you whenever the ties, and the women are given purple scarves. As we see Alana, she's like, take my picture down. I knew she would be that way. She's covering her right now. But we'll give you the scarves. They are not to be collected. If you accidentally find 2 or 3 in a box somewhere, don't make a quilt. give them back, okay? Every time a scarf is kept at home, harvested for some unforeseen circumstance, we have to repurchase them over and over and over and over. So be mindful. The scarf, this past year we were pretty good about turning them in at the end of the concert, but in general, if one ends up at home, it is not yours to keep for now and forever, and it's certainly not yours to collect. If you see guys wearing a black vest or a jacket or both, those are their own details, okay? There are plenty of guys that just wear the black turtleneck and the skinny scarf, and then they bring their own pants. You don't have to have a vest, you don't have to have a jacket, but again, in terms of confidence, a lot of guys would rather not just wear the turtleneck. They want to slip on a vest, they want to slip on a jacket. We just ask that it's solid black, okay? You can find all sorts of stuff at Goodwill. Shoes, black closed-toed shoes, as you can see, they don't have Nike logos. They don't have a white little trim at the bottom. They don't have big white shoelaces. And if y'all are okay with it, I'll just send a picture of the non-black concert things to you in an email after the fall concert and be like, how do we think about this all black shoe? What are our thoughts? Just don't be confused on that. When it's concert time now until the end of time, they need black shoes. Okay. So as a recap, with your choir feed, we're just getting the black blouse for the women, the black shirt for the guys, and the purple tie and the purple scarf. But it's up to you to get the black pants that fit. If you want your kid to, if your guy wants to be in a vest or a jacket, totally down, up for you. If not, they will be in the turtleneck. Okay, thank you so much for our volunteers. Beautiful. The next slide. Cell phone policy. I understand that you might really have to tell your kids something, okay? I totally get it. You just might be telling them, like, in the office instead of, like, in the comfort of the choir room, because we do have a statewide cell phone policy now, okay? And if a kid's on their phone, the first thing they say is, my mom's texting me, and I feel so bad, okay? But you're gonna finish the conversation with your kid in the front. It's a very serious cell phone policy, and I didn't make it up, nor am I morally tied to it, okay? These are not sinners versus, do-gooders, okay? This is just a new rule that we're gonna follow, like a bunch of other stuff. But that is separate from the idea that our class periods are, does this go to the technology slide then? Never mind, go back. Our class periods are no longer binders. There's no printed music, there's no pencils, there's no highlighters. We do everything via technology. So if you have parent locks, like if you're in varsity treble for sure, varsity treble or varsity mix, if your kid is in either of the varsity classes, and your kid has parent locks for apps, go ahead and give them permission to download Newzik, N-E-W-Z-I-K. I'll send something on Band App and they can help you. But confirmed by me, they need it, okay? And then, on the other hand, we used to be able to do rehearsals with them tuning in on their phones. That's no longer the case. But every kid has a school-issued Chromebook. And help your kids be remembering before they leave the house that it's got to be charged, okay? It has got to be charged. We've got 74 kids in JV treble in one class period. We've got 72 now in chorale. These are some big old classes, and we've got like 8 available wall plugs. So, there's that. The school, if they don't like the vibe of the school-issued Chromebook, and your kid says, Mom, can I please have a tablet? Mr. Kirtley says it's so much easier to just have a tablet. They're not lying. It really is a lot easier. We have 36 the school-issued iPads in the classroom. They, on any given day, about 15 of them are completely useless to the universe. They don't work right. Don't rely on those. At the end of the day, you can do your rehearsal on a Chromebook, but your kid's not, they're not lying if they ask for a device. They are lying if they say, no, it needs to be a brand new, gigantic iPad, state of the art. That is a lie, that's a cap, okay? It can be any kind of tablet. They're gonna be like, Mr. Kirby, shut up, Mr. Kirby, shut up. It can be the $49.99 Amazon Fire tablet at Best Buy because it works with teens. It's not gonna have all the fancy, Angry Bird, whatever, fancy games. So like, if they really, really want their own tablet, they'll get the job done, okay? We just need one app and it's called Teams. And it's extremely beneficial for them to have their own tablet, but if they don't, they can do what we do on your phones and on the Chromebooks. Next slide. Voice lessons. I would scan this. If your kid's in varsity, we're still holding to the varsity students, varsity travel, varsity mix. We're doing voice lessons. We are, how much are they again? Does it say? $24 per lesson. They happen during class. And if you were in middle school varsity, this expectation rolls over, okay? Varsity does voice lessons. We have a scholarship form you can fill out, and I'll post that on the band app as well. And you apply for a scholarship, and it can cover up to the entire amount, pending like their involvement, pending if they miss a lesson, they're out of that. We're not going to pay for missed lessons, or if they're being disrespectful in them or whatever. But we've got like the absolute. I have never been more proud of our voice faculty. People are crawling over themselves to get whatever times our voice teachers have available. So like, I'll take them for an afternoon over at this school. I'll take them for an afternoon at this school. I say yes. But get your kids filled up now. If you don't have a preference on a voice teacher, I'll put you in. And sometimes even if you do have a preference on a voice teacher, I'll put you where I think you need to go. So there's voice teachers are starting lessons tomorrow. So you can get that going as soon as possible. Okay. Go to the calendars. Okay, so it is really important to look ahead for our calendar. Gone are the days of you being able to schedule during school elective appointments, dentist, doctor, of when it comes time for prom and homecoming, nails, hair, it's not gonna happen during choir, okay? There are so many other class periods that are not a team sport. You know what's not a team sport? Math. You know what's not a team sport? History. It's not. Okay, so no matter how important, when you're weighing your options, it should be when you're absent. I wish I could show a video of what happens when you're absent, but it is stressful, okay? Because I'm not like these other choir directors. No, it is a very real thing. When your kid is not in class, I'm making things work around the absence of this person, as if they're never going to come back again. I'm like, okay, well, you got to move down here, you got to move down here, let's hear you two together. Okay, let's hear this. And then they'll be gone for like an hour, and they come back and they learned an entire song. Varsity Mix has had 3 rehearsals. They learned a song day 1, they learned a song day 2, and they're halfway through a 10-minute song. Okay, so it is no funny business. Varsity Trouble, same thing. They learned a song day 1, they learned did y'all learn the second song? Yep, and they learned the second song today. So we are moving and shaking, and go to the next slide. There are ways to avoid scheduling your child over this tiny window of time. On this, we've got the class schedule. Your kids can also typically tell you, I am not available for an appointment on even days from 9:30 till 11. But you bet your bottom dollar at 11:01 on 35. Go, get those braces tightened, girl, get them, okay? But please, and when I get a kid slaps a note on my desk, the first 2 minutes of class saying, I'm gonna be leaving a little early, and it says 10 minutes from now. I'm like, okay, well, you're gonna be a bass now. And it's little Susie, okay? This instructional calendar, also gonna be on the band app, but you can also Google it. This instructional calendar lets you know which days are even, which days are odd. If your kid is in JV treble, then that's an odd day. You need to do your hardest, okay? And there's parents, there's kids, I mean, in chamber especially, we've had a really great streak the last several years. There's like 27 kids in chamber who didn't have a single absence last week, not one, okay? Kids be coming in with like an entire, diagnosis. They're really in an IV, thing, and they're like, I'm just gonna sit over here, but I'm here, and I just want to let you know, okay? It happens. So when they're racking up, I had a kid miss this morning for whatever reason. It's tough. Yes. These times are wrong. And they will be correct when your child feeds them to you orally. Okay, it's gonna be like 9:30. Ignore that. Just this part. The instructional calendar, even odd is right, but the times and stuff are wrong. Cool. Noted. Look at your kid's schedule. It'll be so helpful. Next slide. Cool. This is the most important document of the entire year, okay? Scan, it says me, but scan this, and it will take you to a Google spreadsheet that has all of the even and odd days. Benish, could you actually move over to like a window of the calendar so I could show them what it looks like?
Yes, give me a second.
A little impromptu moment here. I want to show you what this calendar looks like because it's state of the art and it took 5 trillion hours for me to make. If you want to know, like, oh, I'm trying to book an appointment sometime in February, you can look right now and it'll tell you if we have STAR Algebra 1 testing that day. It'll tell you if it's an even day. It'll tell you if it's an early release day. It's got a bunch of stuff. Okay, cool. So whenever you open this thing, oh God, this is so blurry. You gotta love Tim Creek. This legend right here, Benish, could you scroll down? Oh, yeah. Could you scroll down just a little bit so I could point to things? Not that way. Like there we go. Okay. So if your kid is doing Allstate, you are looking at red things, okay? All of the red dates are Allstate things. But if your kid is not doing Allstate, you can ignore all of the red things on the calendar. If your kid is doing show choir, then you are to pay attention to all of the orange things. If your kid's not doing show choir, ignore the orange things. So before you look at this calendar and say, if your kid's just in one choir class, then there's only one color everyone follows, and that is the purple one, where it says very blurrily, every choir, okay, Manford. So here we have the first thing right here. Man, if you think it's blurry over there, it is really blurry up here. I can hold a pixel like this. Fall concert, mandatory. Winter concert, mandatory. Club volleyball, club soccer, club chess, whatever it is that you've got that's a club, your kid is going to get a 0 if they don't show up to one of those mandatory things. Okay, it's a performance class, and I just be prepared for that. Okay, this calendar is here to help you. All of the test days are in this nice kind of, I don't know what it is, but this nice little pink thing. And then the social events, obviously optional, are in the blue stuff. The biggest thing in the world is this right here. Even days are marked with black backgrounds and white numbers, and odd days are white backgrounds and black numbers, all the way through the year, okay? So you can schedule your appointments so perfectly, okay? Your vacations, I prefer, if you're in varsity, to not take the cheapest cruise known to man. the week before our fall concert, the whole week, okay? Just kind of use this, get that cheap cruise right after the fall concert, right after, okay? There's a way to save this as a, I wish I had an easy way, it's gonna be instruction overload, but there's a way to save this as an app on your phone. If when you scan the QR code, you open it in a web browser, and then you click add to homepage. If you want that, it'll look like an app on your phone. You can open it just like in your Facebook app or whatever. If you want those instructions again, come up to me after and I can point, but it's kind of hard to do all at once. Okay, next slide. Here's the fun one. So fun. Oh yeah, baby. Not this one. Okay, finances. So, you may have noticed it's been hard to get funding for things here in the Lone Star State, okay? It has been tough. We are so lucky to have two choir directors still here, okay? But it is not, there's nothing that happens in the choir room, whether it's music, whether it's the accompanist, whether it's the string players, whether it's the scarf, the this, the that, the lights, whatever it is, there's nothing that happens without the community of choir paying for it, okay? There's, our budget is like, a couple $1,000, and we use it, it costs $300 to send one choir to UIL, and we send like 6. And then each bus ride, when we take a bus to wherever for round 2 of Allstate, that bus ride is $1,000, because we're going like, 15 minutes away, they've got to wait there all day. We use our school budget up like that for things that are so overhead that like, when we don't even know they're happening, okay? It's over so quick. So all of our other stuff, I'm talking like the choral commission, $7,000, the shirts, $750. This is just for chamber and EDX, but chamber is $14,000 roughly. Show choir is roughly $30,000, and then the general choir population, I don't have that number here, but it's a lot of money. And every year, with the next, you can go to the next slide, Benj. Every year, sometime around March, with the amount of money that we ask from people and the amount of money we receive, we run out. And so the spring concert, you might see a bunch of a cappella pieces. Spring concert, you might, when it comes for Festival de Voce in April, there have been many times where we have the bus ride there to the contest, but then we've got a carpool back because money is gone. So I promise you, we're not hoarding money, there are expenses. So the general choir fee, this is not for show choir. If your kid's in show choir and you already did something, if your kid's in chamber and you already did something, this is not that. This is for everyone who is in choir. It's $135, okay? The next cheapest fine arts activity, it's like $100 just to be in the musical. I don't know, what is it? They pay production. Okay, so in theater they pay production. So that'd be like, okay, this is a fall concert fee, this is a winter concert fee, this is a spring concert fee. We're all in on all of our productions, but what's the band fee? And what is it? 4,000 for band. Okay. What is it for cheer? 5,000 per stunt. Okay. Okay. It is so cheap to be in choir, okay? We do the technology world makes it so cheap, okay? So please be patient with that cost, and if there's an issue financially, send me an email. I've never kicked anyone out because they couldn't afford the $135, but we do have overhead costs. This is not paid to the Booster Club, so if you've done the show choir or the ADX, the show choir or the chamber fee, this is separate. This goes to our activity account. So you go to the Keller Web Store. There's 2 ways to do it, and I never get to see the portal myself, but I always get questions about like, oh, the show choir, the choir fee isn't popping up at the web store. And then whenever that happens, I send instructions for how to do the other way. There's a way that works and a way that doesn't. Okay, you go through the student's account, right? You go through the student's account and you should find it. And if you don't, send me an email and I will get to you in up to 48 hours. Okay, and then yeah, I'm going to talk about this. We could have a couple booster people up here. So yeah, there we go. So the district provides some money to run this choir program, $7,000, and then the choir fees are collected are about $25,000, and then fundraising is done to bridge the gap. Our big fundraiser is gonna come up in we'll send more stuff about it. I can't remember the date, but it's basically a call-a-thon, okay? So when your kids come home and they say, Mom, I need 10 contacts, I need 20 contacts on this list, that is what that is, okay? We have to do this fundraiser. We get all the money that we really need at this one event. We can make it work, but only if you put the contacts in that list. And okay, so there's that. And go to the next slide. Okay, and now I'm going to turn it over to some boosters.
Hello, everyone. I'm India Davis. This is Aaron Wilson and Ken Schultz, and then Carolyn over in the back, and then Rachel Powell. We have someone too. So we are the choir booster board, and we just wanted to talk just a little bit about our booster club. So we, at the end of last year, really started an official booster for choir. And so this sheet that hopefully many of you got just kind of talks about the different levels of choir booster membership. And so on here, if you can see, just really is providing extra crucial funding for the choir department, because as Mr. Kirtley said, the actual funding that's received, and even with the choir fee that's paid, it just doesn't always cover everything that's needed, especially when we're talking about travel and meals and all the different music that they're purchasing. So the booster is meant to help with that and help facilitate extra funds for some of those things. So we ask that you kind of look over the action bench. If you want to, next slide. The basic membership is $25. We ask that at the very least everybody become a basic booster member. You can, instead of paying $25, you can volunteer 3 hours each semester. We have opportunities to do that. And then we have additional ways that you can become a member as well, which you want to go to the next slide. This is pretty much the same that's on your paper. It definitely gives the different levels of membership. It talks about different things that you can get with different levels of membership. You can get VIP seats at the concerts. You can get some public recognition, choir merchandise, different things like that. And then we also have corporate sponsorship opportunities. So if you own a business, or you have, you work somewhere that would like to become a corporate sponsor, we're certainly accepting corporate sponsors as well, and we're developing some of those things. We are new. I'll let Aaron talk in just a second. We are new, so we ask you to give us a little bit of grace because we're figuring it out.
So Ken is actually the returning board member from last year. The rest of our board is new, so he's just going to present us really quickly so that you guys officially know your board, and then we'll look at what the next slide says.
Great, thanks. So Erin is our new president this year, and so she'll just sort of like give us guidance and help arrange things and be main point of contact for a lot of you who have just general questions about the booster. We're with India, who's our vice president. I'm the treasurer. So everything Kirtley said about money earlier, like that stuff's all super legit. Like we work really hard to make sure that we're spending the money very wisely. Like when it comes to banquet, the boosters last year made some great progress. We saved a ton of money from the year before. We're always looking for ways for the kids to have as much fun as possible, but also we want to be very good stewards of the money. But just to emphasize too what Kirtley says, just for context, why this is so important. Every single song that they sing, every single student who sings it we have to pay for that. Like, you know, so if there's 75 students singing one song, whatever, it's $8 a person, you're like, that's not a lot, but then it's times 75, times 10 songs for the fall, times 3 for, you know, each concert. Like, it really adds up. And Adrian and Caleb put so much, you know, blood, sweat, and tears into helping these kids. Like, things that we can do to take load off their shoulder and help them out just makes it so they can really focus on the kids and not, oh, like, we have to pay this bill, or oh, we have to, you know, figure out we can't do this song because we don't have the money for it. So, like Adrian said, we spend what we can from what we get from the district, from the activity fund, but it doesn't cover everything. And we want to make sure that our kids have, you know, as good a time as possible and never really have to stretch. Things we put in last year, like what, you know, for each of the concerts, we're feeding the kids, so you don't have to worry about dropping off food. You know, just for transparency, it's like $1,000 to bring in and feed all the kids. But that comes from the booster funds, but we're happy to do it because it's good for your kids. They get a free meal. You don't have to stress about how do I get their food there. And so all these type of things, we're always trying to figure out how to do it, but it does cost real money. And so that's why, you know, we're focused on fundraising and doing other things. And because the more money that we can bring in, it all goes back into the program. You know, like, we aren't taking salaries or anything like that. This is all just volunteer time for us. But anything we raise, we give back to the kids, whether it's like shirts, t-shirts at different times, the food we said, other opportunities. So I just want you to know, like, we really, that means a lot to us to be able to do that for them, and so we do what we can. A couple of other members, we have Carolyn back there. She's our parliamentarian, so she just helps us, you know, she basically tells us, you can't do that. You know, yeah, and keeps us in line. And then Rachel's joining us as our secretary. So Rachel Powell is joining us as our secretary, and so, you know, she'll take minutes, and that's one of the things we do as we go through our board meetings. We'll have minutes about what we talk about. We'll share that out. She helps us pull this together. You know, we will start doing as well, like a monthly, for the people who are boosters, monthly financial updates, so you can see like what we're spending money on, where it's going, and that as well. So, you know, to know that we're doing a good job there. And yeah, you know, we're also looking for volunteers. I think Aaron's going to talk about that as well. But like, although we have these positions, we need a lot of people to help us out. And so I'll give it to Erin so she can walk through that.
Yeah, we'll keep this really brief because I know it's getting close to time to go. But we have a Sign Up Genius that was made. We have several different committees that you can help volunteer with. Concert committees where marking down early bird seats, helping feed kids, and fundraising committees and things like that. So if you are actually, I'm sorry. Oh, a banquet committee, which I would love help. Whoever likes to decorate and all that stuff, like that may be your committee. But we will stay up here. If you guys are interested in talking to us about volunteer opportunities, you can volunteer as little or as much as you like. We're also open to ideas. We're building this board. We're trying to support this program and keep it growing. So we are open to new ideas too. So I don't think I have anything else to say.
Amazing. So the best way to volunteer is to get multiple people to, you know, you don't have to be a mother or a father. You can volunteer if you are an engaged neighbor, okay? But if we have 40 people that are regularly volunteering, then volunteering becomes a very easy, minute task, okay? If we only have the same 3 or 4 people volunteering at everything, it's painful, okay? So just assume that there's lots and lots of people and hop on in and we'll give you a task. Your task might be, okay, before the concerts, could you take the reserved seating names on these seats? Good job, thank you so much, we love you, love you, love you. Could you hand sandwiches to kids before the concert? Amazing, see you next year, okay? Like, you can volunteer for just these little things. You don't have to be some sort of booster parent mastermind. You can fill out the QR code and volunteer, okay? If you have questions about a JV class, a grade you might get or something, then it is, oh my gosh, I'm the worst director ever. Y'all, the assistant choir director is Caleb Banish. Mr. Banish, would you just wave? He's the change. Yay, Banish! I apologize now for the stories your kids bring home. Okay, he is a wonderfully creative man with his storytelling as well. And caleb.bennett@kalerisd.net. If you have a question as a varsity kid, that's me. If you have a question chamber, that's me. And Mr. Bennett also does show choir. Okay, next slide. Oh, gracias. Thank you so much. Okay, so yeah, could you go back to that volunteer QR code? And we'll just, yeah, if you want to volunteer, you can scan this, email later. But yeah, we're going to go ahead and excuse ourselves. And let's say, like, we're going to turn off the lights in this room in like 10 minutes. Okay? Cool. I know we just love to socialize. Band up, band up. It's band up, y'all.